General Park stood tall on the bridge of the UES Defiance. At 63 years old, his hair was gray, but his eyes were sharp. He had fought in 3 wars on Earth. Now he faced something much bigger. The view screen showed a huge ship. It belonged to the Talon Empire. The alien ship was 10 times larger than the biggest human battleship. "They are calling us again, General," said Lieutenant Kim. His fingers moved quickly over the control panel. "Let them speak," Park ordered. He straightened his uniform and took a deep breath. The screen changed to show the face of High Commander Nelith. The alien had blue skin and eyes that looked like they held stars inside them. "Human ship, this is your final warning," Nelith said. "Your people on Proxima Centauri 3 are in our space. You have 24 Earth hours to leave. If you stay, we will clean the planet of all humans." General Park kept his face calm. "High Commander, there must be a mistake. Humans have lived on Proxima Centauri for 30 years. Our records show no one owned it before us." "Your records mean nothing," Nelith said coldly. "The Talon Empire has owned this area for thousands of years. Your people are like pests to us." Lee, the peace talker for Earth, stepped forward. "Maybe we can meet and talk about—" "There is nothing to talk about," Nelith cut her off. "The humans on Proxima will leave. Whether they leave alive or dead is up to you." General Park's face hardened. "High Commander, listen carefully. If you kill even one human on Proxima Centauri 3, the Earth government will declare war on the Talon Empire. We may be new to space travel, but trust me, you do not want humans as enemies." Nelith laughed, the sound echoing through the bridge. "You simple creatures have only traveled in space for about 100 years. The Talon Empire controls 5,000 star systems. Your threats are as empty as your worth to us." 24 hours, High Commander," Park replied, his voice steady but firm. "During that time, I suggest you study human history. Look especially at what happens when stronger forces underestimate how determined humans can be." The call ended, leaving the bridge quiet. "What should we do, sir?" asked Commander Choi, Park's second-in-command. "Call Earth Command. Tell them we need the 3rd Fleet here as soon as possible. And get as many people off Proxima Centauri III as we can. Not because we're giving up, but because I want to keep them safe while we show the Talon Empire exactly what humans can do." As the crew rushed to follow his orders, Park looked at the massive alien ship. The Talons had existed for thousands of years. Their technology was so advanced it seemed like magic, but they had never met humans before, and that was about to become their biggest mistake. 6 hours later, Park stood in the ship's strategy room. Holograms showed the evacuation efforts on Proxima Centauri 3. The colony was home to nearly 100,000 humans. So far, only 15,000 had made it to safety. "The evacuation ships can only take so many people at once," Commander Choi explained. "At this rate, we'll need at least 3 days to get everyone off-world." "We don't have 3 days," Park said grimly. He looked at another display showing the Talon ships. 3 more had arrived, taking positions around the planet. "They're getting ready to attack as soon as the deadline ends." "The 3rd Fleet won't arrive for another 30 hours, said Lieutenant Min, the weapons officer. "We'll be on our own when the Talons attack." Park nodded. "Then we need to slow them down." He turned to Officer Han, who handled special operations. "Is Operation Hornet's Nest ready?" Han nodded. "Yes, sir. The Wasp drones are hidden among the evacuation ship's cargo. We can activate them at any time." "Good," Park said. "And our other surprise?" "Ready as well," Han confirmed. "Though I must warn you, we've never tested it against alien technology. It might not work." "It will work," Park said firmly. "Humans have been hacking each other's systems since computers were invented. The Talons may be advanced, but they've never faced human hackers before." The door to the strategy room opened and Dr. Jin entered. As the ship's expert on alien life, she had been studying all available information on the Talons. "General, I've found something interesting," she said, bringing up new images on the main display. "The Talons have conquered over 100 species, but always through overwhelming force or threats. There's no record of them ever facing serious resistance." "Bullies," Park said softly. "They're used to others giving up or being crushed easily." "Exactly. Dr. Jin agreed. And there's something else. Their society is extremely hierarchical. Orders flow from the top down, with little room for individual thinking or adaptation. Park's eyes lit up. So if we disrupt their command structure, they might not know how to respond, Dr. Jin finished. Park turned to his team. Adjust the plan. The Wasps should target their communication systems first. Let's cut off the head from the body. As the officers left to carry out his orders, Commander Choi stayed behind. Do you really think we can win against them? She asked, quietly. Their technology is centuries ahead of ours. Park walked to the window, looking out at the stars. Technology isn't everything, Commander. History is filled with technologically superior forces that were defeated by more determined, more adaptive opponents. He turned to face her. The Talons think their advanced weapons make them invincible, but humans? We've been fighting against the odds since we climbed down from the trees. And if they kill our people on Proxima? Choi asked. Park's eyes grew cold. Then they learn what humans are truly capable of when protecting our own. He looked back at the hologram of the colony. Every human life they take will cost them 1,000 of theirs, not out of revenge, but because that's what happens when you force humans to fight for survival. Commander Choi nodded and left the room. Alone, Park studied the Talon ships one more time. You think you're facing simple creatures? He said quietly, to the empty room. But you're about to face the most dangerous species in the galaxy. Humans who have nothing left to lose. The next 18 hours would prove him right. The 24-hour deadline was almost over. On Proxima Centauri III, ships full of people were still taking off, trying to escape. General Park had managed to get about 70% of the people to safety, but more than 30,000 humans were still on the planet. The Talon ships are moving into attack position, said Officer Yang. They are putting out what look like space weapons platforms. General Park nodded grimly. Where is our fleet? The third fleet will get here in about 40 minutes, sir, Commander Choi said. Too late to stop the first attack. Park turned to communications. Open a channel to High Commander Nelith. The blue-skinned alien's face appeared on screen, looking proud. Have you come to beg, human? I've come to give you one last warning, Park said. My kind has lived through ice ages, sicknesses, world wars, and our own attempts to destroy ourselves. We've fought each other so hard that we nearly ruined our home planet many times. Now think about what we'll do to an outside threat. Nelith's face showed no emotion. Your time is up. So is yours, Park replied, cutting off the call. He turned to his crew. Start Operation Hornet's Nest. All around the Proxima system, hundreds of what looked like cargo boxes suddenly turned on. These were Wasp drones, small fighting robots, which had been secretly placed during the evacuation. Wasps are active and targeting enemy ships, Yang-O confirmed. The drones, only about the size of a human chest, swarmed toward the massive Talon ships. The Empire's sensors spotted them too late. They had been programmed to look like space junk until the moment of attack. The bridge of the UES Defiance watched as the first wave of Wasps hit the Imperial fleet. They didn't go for weapons or engines. Instead, they stuck to communication arrays and sensor nodes. What are these insects? Nelith's voice crackled through a partly working communication channel. Your simple weapons can't break through our shields. They don't need to, Park replied calmly. Officer Han now. Lieutenant Han, the ship's computer expert, pressed the button. Each Wasp drone had a special computer running advanced human-made hacking software. The Talons, despite their better technology, had never faced human hackers before. Across the Imperial fleet, systems began failing. Shield grids flickered. Weapon targeting went offline. Internal communications broke down. Empire. Ships are having system failures everywhere. Yang reported, unable to hide his happiness. Sir, Commander Choi said urgently. They're still launching the attack platforms. Park's face darkened. Launch our fighters. Protect the colony at all costs. The UES Defiance fired everything it had, destroying several platforms, but 3 got through. They began raining destructive energy upon the colony's main city. How many dead? Park demanded. First reports say at least 2,000 civilians, Lieutenant Kim replied, his voice hollow. General Park closed his eyes briefly. When he opened them, his gaze was hard as steel. Send a message to Earth Command, he ordered. The Talon Empire has attacked and killed human civilians. As of this moment, we are at war. 3 hours later, the Third Fleet arrived at Proxima Centauri III. Admiral Kang's flagship, the UES Intrepid, took position alongside the Defiance. Their systems are still compromised, Park explained during the emergency meeting on the Intrepid. Our virus is spreading through their network. They can't talk to each other, can't target accurately, and can't call for help. Admiral Kang looked impressed. So the mighty Talon Empire was brought low by a computer virus? Not just any virus, Officer Han said proudly. It's adaptive. It learns from their attempts to remove it and changes itself. The more they fight it, the stronger it gets. Like fighting humans, Commander Choi added. Admiral Kang nodded. Good work, all of you, but we still have a problem. The Talon Empire won't take this defeat lightly. They'll send more ships. Let them come, Park said. Every ship they send gives us more of their technology to study. Every battle teaches us more about how they fight. And the colony? Admiral Kang asked. Park's face grew solemn. 2,342 dead, including 700 children. He looked at each person in the room. We will remember each one, and we will make sure the Talon Empire never forgets what happens when you kill humans. 1 week later, General Park stood on the bridge of the Defiance, watching as human engineers worked on a captured Talon ship. They had disabled 7 Imperial vessels during the battle, capturing 5 of them intact. How is the reverse engineering going? He asked Dr. Jin. Better than expected, she replied. Their technology is advanced but not magical like we thought. We already understand how their shield systems work. Give us a month, and we can adapt it to our ships. We may not have a month, Commander Choi said, joining them. Our long-range sensors have detected a large fleet moving this way. At least 30 Talon ships, maybe more. Park nodded. They're taking us seriously now. Sir, there's something else, Choi added, her voice lower. We found something in their computer systems. Records of other species they've removed. Park followed Choi to a private room where Officer Han waited with a display screen. 27 species, Han explained, showing images of different alien worlds. All of them new to space travel, like us. All of them cleansed when they moved into areas the Empire considered theirs. Park stared at the images, his face growing harder with each one. They've done this before, many times. Yes, sir, Han confirmed. But there's a difference. He pulled up more images. These other species surrendered or were wiped out completely. None of them fought back effectively. None of them were human, Park said quietly. Exactly, sir, Choi said. The Talons have never faced anything like us before. Park was silent for a long moment, studying the images of extinct civilizations. We're not fighting just for Proxima Centauri anymore, he finally said. Or even just for humanity. He looked up at his officers. We're fighting for every species. These monsters have destroyed, and everyone they plan to destroy in the future. That's a big task, sir, Han said hesitantly. Yes, it is, Park agreed. But humans have always fought best when we have something bigger than ourselves to fight for. He straightened up. Call Earth Command. Tell them I need to speak with the President directly. What are you going to say? Choi asked. I'm going to tell them what we've learned, Park replied. And then I'm going to propose Operation Sanctuary. What's Operation Sanctuary? Han asked. General Park's eyes showed a mix of determination and hope. It's how humanity is going to change the galaxy forever. The Talon Empire thinks this war is about territory. He gestured to the images of the destroyed civilizations. But it's about something the Talons have never understood and will never defeat. The human drive to protect not just ourselves, but anyone who needs protection. As he left the room, Commander Choi turned to Officer Han. The Talons think they started a war for a single planet. she said quietly. Instead, they've awakened the most dangerous force in the galaxy, humans fighting for a just cause. 3 weeks after the attack on Proxima Centauri III, the situation had changed greatly. The human fleet had grown. 7 Telan ships had been captured intact. Earth's scientists were learning their technology quickly. In the war room of the UES Indomitable, the new main ship of the human forces, General Park met with his team. The Talon Empire has called back forces from 12 areas of space, reported Officer Yoon, pointing to the star map. They're getting ready for a big attack. Let them come, said Admiral Kang, who had brought more ships from Earth. Our teams have already added their shield technology to our vessels. Park shook his head. Don't think too little of them. The Empire has conquered hundreds of species over thousands of years. They won't be beaten easily. But none of those species were human, commented Dr. O, who was studying Talon biology from the prisoners they'd captured. The Talons grew up in places with few dangers or enemies. Their empire grew through better technology, not through fighting. Which explains why they think they're better than everyone, Commander Choi added, and why they weren't ready for our ways of fighting. General Park walked slowly around the star map, studying the movements of Imperial forces. Their mistake wasn't attacking us. Their mistake was killing humans and expecting nothing to happen. The door to the war room opened, and a young officer came in with a data pad. General, we've found more information from the enemy ships we captured. You need to see this right away. Park read the information, his face growing darker. They've done this before. 27 species, all just starting to travel in space, all cleaned when they moved into areas the Empire said were theirs. The room grew quiet as everyone understood what this meant. Mass killing, Admiral Kang whispered. Across the whole galaxy. Park put the data pad on the table. I want to show you something. He entered a command and the star map changed to show pictures from Earth's history, photos of war, fighters for freedom, people helping others. This is who we are, Park said, his voice quiet but strong. We fight, we suffer, we keep going. But most importantly, he switched to images of rebuilding, peace treaties being signed, former enemies working together. We protect those who cannot protect themselves. He turned to face his team. This is no longer just about defending human colonies. We're going to free every species under the Talon Empire's control. That's a very big goal, General, Admiral Kang said carefully. It's who we are. Park replied. Contact Earth Command. I want to start Operation Sanctuary. 2 months later, General Park stood on the bridge of the Indomitable as it led a fleet of 50 ships toward Kepler 22b, a planet that had been under Talon control for over 300 years. The locals are called the Vosh, Dr. O explained, showing images of tall, thin beings with 4 arms. They were a peaceful farming people before the Talons came. Now they're used for hard labor in mines. Enemy forces in the system? Park asked. 2 main battleships and several smaller vessels, reported Officer Yang. Standard control fleet. Park nodded. Begin the operation. The human fleet split into 3 groups. The main force, led by Admiral Kang, would engage the Talon ships directly. A smaller group would deploy ground forces to help the Vosh. The 3rd group, led by the Indomitable, would target the Talon control center on the planet. Remember, Park told the ship captains before the battle, this isn't just about winning. It's about showing the Vosh and all watching species that humans are different from the Talons. We don't conquer, we liberate. The battle began with a now familiar tactic. Wasp drones, much improved from the first versions, swarmed the Talon ships. This time, the Empire's forces were ready with countermeasures, but it didn't matter. Human hackers had developed new ways to break their systems. As the space battle raged, dropships carrying soldiers headed for the surface. Leading them was Commander Choi. Ground teams have landed, she reported over the comm link to Park. Moderate resistance, the Vosh are... They're joining us, sir. They're attacking the Talon guards. Park allowed himself a small smile. The first step worked. Now for the next part. The Indomitable moved toward the main Talon control center. a massive structure that dominated the largest city on Kepler 22b. "We're in range," Officer Min reported. "Weapons locked on the control center's power systems." "Fire," Park ordered. Precisely. Targeted energy beams hit key points of the structure, disabling its defenses and communication systems without destroying the building itself. "Ground teams moving in," Choi reported. "We've secured the main entrance. The Talon administrators are trying to delete their files." "Too late for that," Officer Han said from his station on the Indomitable. "We're already in their network, downloading everything." Within 3 hours, the battle was over. The Talon ships had been disabled or destroyed. The control center was in human hands. The Vosh were free for the first time in centuries. 1 week later, Park sat in a meeting room with the Vosh leaders. Unlike most species which communicated through sound, the Vosh spoke by changing the color of patches on their skin. "They say they cannot believe what has happened," Dr. O translated. "The Eternal Empire, as they call it, has ruled them for so long that many thought it would never end." "Tell them it has ended," Park said, "and it will never return." Dr. O translated, her skin patches shifting through a spectrum of colors thanks to a device the science team had created. The lead Vosh, an elder named, as close as humans could pronounce it, Tal, responded with a complex pattern of blue and green. "Tal asks why humans would help them," Dr. O translated. "What do we want in return? What tribute must they pay to their new masters?" Park shook his head firmly. "Tell them we are not here as conquerors. We do not want tribute or slaves, or resources. We fight because the Talons killed our people, and when we learned they had done the same to many species, we could not stand by and let it continue." As Dr. O translated, the Vosh leader's skin patterns showed confusion, then disbelief. "They don't understand," Dr. O explained. "The concept of fighting for others' freedom is, they have no word for it." "Then we will teach them," Park said. "Not just the word, but the meaning." He stood up and approached Tal directly. "Tell them that from this day forward, the Vosh are free to choose their own path. We will help them, rebuild if they wish or leave them alone if they prefer. The choice is theirs." When Dr. O finished translating, the room was silent. Then, slowly, all the Vosh began to glow with a soft white light, a color they had not shown in centuries. "What does that mean?" Park asked quietly. "Hope," Dr. O whispered. "They're showing hope." As the meeting ended, Commander Choi approached Park. "Word from Earth Command, sir. The President has approved the expansion of Operation Sanctuary. We have authorization to liberate 5 more systems." Park looked back at the Vosh, still glowing with their newfound hope. "Tell the President that's just the beginning. The Talons thought they were punishing humanity by killing a few thousand of us." His eyes hardened. "Instead, they woke something that will change the galaxy forever. Human compassion backed by human determination." "And if the Empire sends their main fleet?" Choi asked. Park's face showed no fear. "Then they'll learn the most important lesson. About humans. The more you try to destroy us, the stronger we become." 6 months into what everyone now called the Liberation War, General Park stood on the observation deck of the UES Indomitable. He watched as ships brought refugees from Kepler 186f, the 12th world they had freed from Talon control. "The Meraxi are doing well," said Dr. O, joining him at the window. "Their bodies are adapting to the conditions we've set up for them. They are very strong for a species that has been slaves for 800 years. Park nodded. "How many species have we saved so far?" 14, Dr. O replied. "Each with their own story of how the Talons hurt them. The Meraxi were forced to work in mines. The Vosh were used for testing medicines. The list goes on." The general's communication device made a sound. "Park here." "Sir," came Lieutenant Han's voice. "We've caught a message. The Talon Emperor wants to talk to you directly." Minutes later, Park sat in his office as the screen lit up to show Emperor Zorath of the Talon Empire. Unlike High Commander Nelith's blue skin, the Emperor's was deep purple, a sign of his ancient family line. "General Park," the Emperor began, his voice not showing the pride that earlier Talon messages had. Your forces have now pushed deep into Imperial space. You've freed, or, as we would say, stolen 12 of our subject worlds. 17, actually, Park corrected. Your information is old. The Emperor's eyes narrowed. You've turned the Galactic Council against us. 3 former tribute species have declared independence. Our trade routes are disrupted. This cannot continue. I agree, Park said simply. It cannot continue. Your empire is built on suffering and killing entire species. That ends now. You speak of killing entire species, the Emperor hissed. We've lost millions of Talon lives to your war. Soldiers, Park clarified. Fighters. Unlike your empire, we don't target civilians. Every Talon civilian on the worlds we've freed has been given safe passage or the choice to stay under new government. The Emperor was quiet for a moment. What do you want, human? The complete surrender of the Talon Empire, the freedom of all subject species, trials for those who ordered planet cleansings, and payment to the families of those killed on Proxima Centauri III. Impossible, the Emperor roared. We have ruled for 50,000 years. Park leaned forward. And in 6 months, humans have taken apart a third of your empire. Think about what we'll do in another year. His voice softened slightly. Or you can end this now. Your people don't have to suffer for the crimes of their leaders. After the call ended, Commander Choi entered the office. Will they give up? Not yet, Park replied. But they're beginning to understand what they're facing. And what's that? Park turned to the star map on his wall where the shrinking borders of the Talon Empire were clearly visible. Humanity at its best, when we fight not just for ourselves but for everyone who can't fight for themselves. 3 days later, as the human fleet prepared to free another Talon world, they received an unexpected message. It came not from the Emperor, but from the Talon Senate, the lawmaking body that had been mostly just for show for thousands of years. We have removed Emperor Zorath from power, announced the Senate spokesperson. The Talon Empire is ready to talk about ending the fighting immediately. 1 month later, on the neutral world of Tau Ceti Prime, General Park led the human group at the signing of the Treaty of Galactic Cooperation. The former Talon Empire would be reorganized as the Galactic Commonwealth, with each species given equal voice. As Park signed the document, the new Talon Chancellor leaned closer. You could have destroyed us completely. Why didn't you? Park put down the pen. Because that's not who we are. Humans fight fiercely when threatened, but what makes us truly dangerous is what we fight for. The belief that all thinking beings deserve freedom and respect. He looked the Chancellor in the eyes. Remember that the next time you think about killing humans. After the ceremony, Park stepped out onto a balcony overlooking the gathered representatives of 28 species, former slaves and masters, now beginning the hard process of building a peaceful life together. Commander Choi joined him. Mission accomplished, General? Park shook his head, watching as human diplomats mixed with representatives of species humans hadn't known existed 7 months ago. No, Commander. This isn't an ending. It's a beginning. In the distance, construction had already started on the headquarters of the new Galactic Commonwealth, its design including building styles from all member species, including the distinctive arches of human construction. What happens now? Choi asked. Park smiled for perhaps the first time since the war began. Now comes the hard part. Building something that lasts, something worth fighting for. He looked up at the stars. And making sure the galaxy remembers what happens when you threaten humanity. We don't just defend ourselves. We change everything. 1 year later, Park stood in the Great Hall of the Galactic Commonwealth. Representatives from 35 species filled the room. Some had been part of the Talon Empire. Others had hidden from it. Now all were equal members of a new galactic family. The human General Park Ji-won, announced the speaker, using Park's full name in the formal way. Park walked to the center of the hall. He wore his military uniform for the last time. 1 year ago today, the Treaty of Galactic Cooperation was signed, he began. Today I am proud to see how far we have come. Former enemies now work together. Former slaves now speak with their own voice. This is the true victory. Not the defeat of an empire, but the birth of something better. He paused, looking around the hall. Today is my last day as the human representative. Tomorrow I return to Earth. A new representative will take my place. He smiled at the young diplomat who would replace him. But know this: humanity will always stand with those who seek freedom. We will always fight for those who cannot fight for themselves. This is our promise to the galaxy. As he stepped down, the hall erupted in a sound that had never been heard before. 28 different species, each with their own way of showing respect, all doing so at once. It was chaotic, beautiful, and entirely new. Commander Choi, now, Admiral Choi waited at the exit. How does it feel? She asked as they walked together. To change the galaxy? Park looked back at the hall, where species that once would have never spoken to each other now work together. It feels like what humans do best. We adapt, we build, we bring others along with us. He smiled. And now the stars will never be the same. As their shuttle lifted off, Park looked down at the Galactic Commonwealth headquarters. Its central dome caught the light of the setting sun, gleaming like a beacon. The Talons thought killing a few thousand humans would be the end of a problem, he said quietly. Instead, it was the beginning of a new age. Admiral Choi nodded. Because that's what happens when you threaten humanity. No, Park corrected her gently. That's what happens when humanity finds its best self. He gazed up as the stars began to appear. We did not just win a war, we built a peace.